Hello everybody and welcome to the Cronus League Week 3. I am real excited to be with you here all today. My name is James T. Kirk and I will be your master of events for the evening. So, I'm over here on the main Guns of Icarus channel, and I realize a lot of you may just be tuning in, more used to the firesides and dev games. So I'm going to go down a brief rundown of what's going on today, and also while we wait for the teams to fill into the lobby. So the Cronus League is the latest competitive event from Guns of Icarus, and we're running things a little bit differently, a little bit non-traditionally, with, as opposed to, 2 teams of 8 people come together and fight through death matches, best of 3
red team,
or
Ryders
whatnot.
and
Let me
Skyborne.
turn off my in-game audio, sorry about that. And so what we're doing this time is ships have signed up in groups of 1, 4 people on one ship and at the very beginning of the tournament, they were all given 1,000 points and asked to choose their partners. So after that process went through, we went through a couple of matches in a round-based format, and the winners got 10% of the losing team's points. And then on week 2, they were balanced with the top team, the team with the most points, being matched to the team with the least points, second most with second least, so on and so forth through the matches, and those went down last week. And then now we are on week 3, so we're seeing some conglomerates of teams here. I've got the entire list right over here. Let me just pull it up. So so in this match, as you can see, we have the Skyborne and the Ouroboros Ryders fighting the Bards and the Green Sun Rising. So they're still filling into the lobby, but once we get going, we're just going to have a standard deathmatch here. These teams have known about each other since Wednesday, I think, is the time. So they're going to be... they've practiced with each other a little bit, presumably, and sort of gotten a feel for the way that the other pilots and teams work together, and hopefully they'll be able to really stick it to the other team and pull off a victory and take some points and move up the rankings. So currently, the top 3 rankings in this tournament are Pastry with 15,002 points, Pastry Timepiece with 1,502 points, Pastry Timepiece with 1,416 points, and Alpha Mike Foxtrot with 1,260 points. And so this is the top 3 teams right now. These teams today obviously are going to be attempting to are going to be attempting to reach that that high ranking position. And all the teams are here, so we should start the timer any moment now. We'll be getting into game in a matter of moments, and we'll get to the main casting. So how things are going to work in general today is there's going to be 2 sections. There's going to be obviously the matches and the in-between lobbies. In-between lobbies is just going to be me talking, as I've done so far. But during the in-between lobbies, I will be keeping a pretty close eye on the chat. So if you have any questions for me about the tournament, about myself, about these teams, I will be able to answer them, and it will give me something to talk about. So please do that. So, I mean, I guess I'll just talk about myself a little bit here. Hi, I'm James D. Kirk. I've been in this community for quite some time. Been a caster for a couple of years. Doing competitive events, Sunday Community Skirmish. I did Cronus. I think I did a little bit of Blood and Brass. So here today, supposed to be casting since week 1, but there was some complications. But I'm here with you all now. Real excited to be here. Yeah, I've been in this game for almost 3 years now, so I'll be able to answer any sorts of questions about the way the game was back in the day, and you know, things like old meta, old competitions, some of the older clans, and stuff like that. So that could be an interesting history lesson for all of you wonderful watchers, or you know, anything else you want to know about. I will answer to my best of abilities. So, just continuing to wait on these teams to get going. One ready up on the Ryders. So, any moment now, beginning into the shooty bits. Alright, let's take a moment here to see what preliminary the teams are bringing here. So, Skyborne are bringing a Mobula. Looks like pretty sniper-oriented. You got Hades, Mercury, Artemis with close range things, just in case. You had a Gatling. Let's see, the Flak works at medium ranges, which is probably, hopefully, excuse me, what they're going to try to stick at. That was the Mobula. Oh, alright, well, we've got enough readies up to begin in half a minute here. I will go over the ships more in depth when the match is going. Berthan, I will answer that question in between lobbies because I cannot answer it fully in just a second. So here we go, beginning the match. Here we are on Water Hazard. So this is a map that used to be 3v3 exclusive, but a couple months ago it was converted to a 2v2 situation. It was shrunk just a little bit, but the overall feel of the map remained intact. It's very open, but there's also a lot of cloud cover. So sneaky teams or teams whose opposition are missing a flare gun can force a medium or close range encounter, but for the most part, you're seeing longer medium to longer range engagements. A lot of things happen around. There's stalagmites just poking up from the ground. I do my best to avoid calling them spires because that's a ship that's in the game. And a lot of teams use those for cover, and there's a really interesting height element that goes on in this map that doesn't happen in a lot of other ones because they're thinner at the top and wider at the bottom. So the lower that you fly on this map, the actual more cover is available to you. So now that we're in match, we're going to go over the ship loadouts. We have the Skyborne, a Mobula piloted by Sunstorm. They have a Mercury on the top deck, a Hades and a Gatling, and then a Flak and an Artemis. And then closing out the red team, the Ouroboros Ryders, another Mobula piloted by Eris with a Hades on top. And on the bottom decks, we have two Artemis. And on the wings, we have a flare gun and a Gatling gun. For the blue team today, we have the Bards, the third Mobula of this match, piloted by Logicalia, Hades on top, Gatling Artemis on the lower decks, and then Banshee Artemis on the top decks. And wrapping things up for this match, we have the Green Sun Rising, a Junker, piloted by Dr. Tentacles. On the left side, they have an Artemis Hades. On the front, they have another Artemis. And on the side, they have Flak Mine Launcher. That will be interesting to see how that goes down. So, as you can see here, teams have just spawned in. They're joining up on each other. It looks like red team is trying to make an aggressive charge through the middle here, or at least keep their eyes in that direction, while the blue team is probably just grouping up for now, moving a little bit to the east. I wonder if they're going to try to duck around that large rock outcropping that you can see over there. If that is the case and there's no spots down, which you cannot see. Oh, you actually can see the other team right there. There might be some spots down on these two Mobulas. There's one. Ouroboros Ryders gets a spot on. Blue team still unspotted. Flares going in the clouds. Red team trying to figure out where blue team is seeing them from. Skyborne. Wow. Long range Hades shots. First one hits. A little bit of vertical movement here to dodge the rest of them. Ouroboros Ryders getting a couple Artemises and Hades colliding into them. Bards has a spot on. Green Sun Rising does not. He might be a little bit out of range for most of these guys. Bards using that Mobula's vertical acceleration to take cover, but it's not quite enough. And oh my gosh, those flaks are exploding on the corner of the mountain. That Mobula's wide profile really playing against it in that instance. But they didn't lose too much armor. That's not a huge problem, but it does give a very, very slight advantage to the red team here. A lot of Hades going back and forth. We're kind of pushing the maximum range even with Lesmog here, the maximum effective range. So they're not landing consistently enough to break armor on either of these ships, especially not that Junker. That Junker is so hard to hit with the Hades, and the red team knows it. They're closing in, focusing down on the Bards. Bards down to pretty low perma, getting themselves back up and running, trying to take cover behind this mountain, backing up and going down, but their balloon is about 50 and therefore only 50% as agile as it could be. Green Sun Rising's Junker taking a lot of balloon damage, as Junkers are apt to do. Those Hades landing very well on the hull. That is a very small, I mean, you can see that's a very small hull profile to hit with such a strangely arcing gun like the Hades, even with Lesmog, and they have almost broken its hull. Junkers, of course, having the smallest amount of permahull. That's the second bar you can see there on the right by the ship icon. The first bar is the armor, which can be repaired, but as soon as that drops, you start doing damage to the permahull or permanent hull, which obviously cannot be repaired. Once your permahull drops to 0, you dead. So, red team seems to have taken up a pretty sturdy position over here, and we're just sort of fighting around this stalagmite outcropping here, using it at kind of a funny angle through this little V area, which appears to be working more in the Ryder's favor, as the Green Sun Rising just sits out and just dodging these Hades shots. Again, so difficult to hit a Junker properly with such a strange arcing weapon. I'm surprised that Mercury, or was that the Bards that had the Merc? Who had the Merc? There we go. Yeah, the Skyborne. I'm surprised the Junker's a little bit easier to hit with the Mercury. I'm surprised that isn't pounding into their hull and doing more damage than we're seeing. I mean, there's a shot right there. So we've sort of set up in this medium range engagement. Gatling gun sort of testing, seeing if it's in range. Not quite. And the Bards are just losing hull, and then losing their whole armor, and then just a little bit of their perma bit by bit. There goes their hull again. Flax closing in, and that's it for the Bards. First point goes to the red team, so if this match ends up in a tie, red will be taking it. That Junker, realizing he's in a 2v1 situation, uses this sort of outcropping and his superior back and forth momentum while keeping weapons on target. Keeping lots of weapons on target to keep going. Sorry, I'm keeping up on the chat. It's really choppy. Alright, I will see if I can drop the resolution here while there's no combat going on. Let's see. Alright, I will drop it down a little bit. Alright, see if that fixes things up for you guys. Sorry about that. Alright, in the meantime, the Bards has spawned back in and it started engaging Gatling fire on the Skyborne. Skyborne is losing hull. Hull is down. Is there going to be an explosive backup? One Hades lands in, does minimal damage, but their hull is still out. Bards forced to go into full repair mode. Green Sun Rising moving in for a flank, going behind, getting really close, but its only close range weapons are a mine launcher, while the Bards loses hull again to the sustained fire of these two Mobulas punching into his permahull. Mine collides into the Skyborne, and now they are on full engineer alert. Their hull is out, the flak is closing in, and another mine lands perfectly, careening them into this structure and losing more balloon and hull. Bards does go down, but Skyborne is not in a good situation right now. They are 2 engines down, third one on fire, 1 weapon fully operational, and the Ouroboros Ryders is trying to come in to provide support, and they've almost got guns on target, but the Green Sun Rising sees that and moves to a different situation. Excellent, excellent, excellent use of mines. Chat, let me know if this quality works for you guys a little bit better. Sorry about that rough start. Hopefully my lovely voice was able to keep you updated about what was going on when your eyes were deceiving you. Green Sun Rising in a really difficult situation right here, but the Bard spawns right back into the combat. Skyborne has got to get out of there if they want to survive. That Gatling will just pepper away at their hull. That Banshee spreading fires across their balloon. And Hades just careening a little bit over the bow. Now starting to connect, but Skyborne trying to get under Carter. Bards makes a bump. Again, that wide Mobula profile playing against them. Oh, boy. So, Skyborne's not doing so hot. Bards loses hull again. They might back up into their team allies' mines, and they do. And that is an accidental team kill. Green Sun Rising, of course, did not do that on purpose. We're not laying mines in their direction, but it's very difficult to see behind you on the Mobula based on where the helm is. Alright, this engagement should be done soon, and I see your little recommendations in chat. I will get on that in between lobbies. Thank you guys very much for giving me a hand here. I appreciate it immensely. Alright, Bard spawning in to try to save their ally. So Skyborne is obviously the target that they should be going for. You can actually see on the ships, if you look at the Skyborne versus the Ryders here, you can see that the Ryders ship just looks like it's in better shape. There's a lot of smoke and twisted beams and tattered sails over here on the Skyborne. That shows that its permahull is a lot lower than a fully healthy ship. So they can see. They can't see the health bars like we can. they can't see this sort of side stuff. But they can sort of get a little bit of an indication. Green Sun Rising moving in again to try to take advantage of those mine launchers, but the Bards loses hull once again. Flax are connecting, but it looks like mostly in the balloon, as their balloon goes down and their hull remains okay. Armor closing down. Their balloon is down. They are a giant hitbox. Armor is going in bit by bit. Skyborne looks like they took a mine hit, but the Ouroboros Ryders might be able to just lay down enough pressure to finish off the Bards. Hanging on by a thread. Skyborne also not doing so hot, dropping out of the engagement. Green Sun Rising cannot keep arcs on target, but they are just inside of Gatling range. Peppers away a little bit. Hydrogen boost up and out of the combat there. Mines a little low. Ouroboros Ryders taking advantage of the Junker's singular blindside, the aft, and engaging Gatling fire in them. Their whole armor down to about 50%. Skyborne and Bards, both of these mobulas just so low. One more armor break and a couple Gatling shots and they are dead. Oh, Green Sun Rising loses hull, and there is absolutely no perma-hull in a Junker. It is so low, and they die very quickly. Bards left in the 2v1 situation, waiting for that spawn timer for their ally to come in. If that Hades breaks their hull, one more shot will do them in, but they have been doing a fantastic job avoiding these shots, taking as many as they can with the balloon. But once that balloon goes down, their ship turns into a giant hitbox. Any damage that goes into a broken component, such as a balloon or an engine, will go directly to the hull. Green Sun Rising spawning in, but is it too late as the Bards takes sustained fire? It is. All right, match 1 goes to the Skyborne and the Ouroboros Ryders. They take 10% of the points from the losing teams put together, divided evenly amongst the two of them. So I will go and edit that bitrate for you guys. All right. Or is it good now after I did it the other time? I will play with that bitrate for you guys right now. I am at 3,000 right now. Do you want me to... Yeah, I'm at 3,000. Do you want me... I'm going to drop it to 2,500. And we'll see if that makes things a little bit better. It's on the internet because I'm seeing here in OBS and I'm not dropping any frames. But I will definitely take your guys' word for that over OBS's. Alright, so... Alright, choppy bitrate is knocked down for you guys. Alright, anyway, we will hop out into the next lobby. Once it is up and running, we'll just hang out in here in the meantime. So, let's see. Skimming over the chat real quick, mostly about the choppy. Okay. Resolution downscale value. Let's see what it is. Let's see. I have that 1.50 is the downscale that I'm running right now. Bitrate, I was at 3,000. I dropped it after that match to 2,500. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate this help going on. I usually run in co-cast with people, but I'm really happy to run solo today. Really appreciate this help that you guys are giving me. It is just this community. I'm telling you, Guns N' Roses community is the most astounding thing that I've ever seen. Like, you know, if I was streaming like League of Legends or something, this chat would be filled with, "Hey man, why are you so bad? Oh, learn how to cast, blah 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 blah." You guys are just like, "Hey man, let me give you a hand." I'm like, "Thanks for the hand." And everybody comes out better. The stream's better. I'm in a better mood, so I can cast better, be a little bit more exciting to you guys. And I just really appreciate it, and I'm going to try to return the favor by giving you an entertaining, engaging, and exciting cast today. But let's see, before we got on match, someone was asking about the Mobula, and Nuka, account number 3, has got it about halfway, has got, you know, one of the contributing factors to it, that's that a lot of the main competitive ships, especially the Pyramidion, got nerfed. And the reason the Pyramidion was so good is because it had 2 forward-facing guns that were on the same target all the time. So you could easily like move forward and backwards and sort of adjust the range at which you had an engagement while keeping your guns on target. They got a lot of hull nerfs and whatnot, and so that will all right, sweet. There's the next one. All right, I'm going to black out the stream real quick so that you guys can't see the super secret password, and then I will hop into match. Let's see, join. What's the join button? I know how to play this game. I need to go back to the lobby, of course. Noob mistake, we all make them. Alright, super secret password. Alright, cool. Alright, bringing the stream back up. Alright, lovely. So yeah, part of the reason is that the Pyramidion, which was the primary ship, got nerfed, but the reason the Mobula took its place as opposed to like a goldfish or a junker is because, once again, it also possesses that forward backwards, mostly guns pointed forwards on target. It has a lot of them. Like 5 weapons is more than anyone can practically use at once. Anyone possibly use it once. There's only 4 people on a ship, and that's assuming that no one's flying the dang thing. So what it allows for is it allows for a little bit of adaptability in a situation where you can have, you know, like 3 long-range weapons and 2 close-range weapons. Like you can have like Hades, Artemis, and then also have like Gat Flak. So at long range you're very effective, and then at medium range, did I say, yeah, Gat Flak? Jeez, what am I talking about? Old game. You can have Gat Mortar on the lower beams. I think, yeah, those definitely over arc. So you can be effective at long range with your Hades and your Artemises, and you can also be effective at close range with your Gat and Mortar. Granted, Mobulas do have a very large blind spot on the rear. There are no weapons pointing to the sides or to the aft of the ship. But what you can do, especially now with pilot stamina, is that you can make a crazy fast turn. With like Phoenix Claw plus pilot stamina, even on a Mobula, you can whip around really quickly. Or they also have a really good vertical acceleration already, so add that with hydrogen or, again, pilot stamina, and you can get out of a nasty situation and reorient yourself so that your guns are on target. Okay, 720p, 1800 to 2500. All right, I'll put down to 720, and I'll put 2000, and we'll see if this next match goes smoother. All right, settings. All right. All right, 720p. Alright, drop this guy down to 2000. And then, oh, yes, save 720p. Where is that one? Video? No, it's my base resolution, just on my monitor. Oh, there we go. Got it. Alright, cool. Okay, got it. Alright, yep, I just saw that. Thanks, Zane. Alright, popping back in the game. Okay. Oh, I was joined in on the wrong lobby. Whoopsie daisy. Not my fault, I got invited. I am just following orders here. I am just the, alright, join crew, super secret password, join game. Alright, pop the stream back on for you guys. And now we wait for the crews. Let's see, what was I talking about? Mobulas, yeah, so the main thing about a Mobula is what used to make the Junker good against a Pyramidion, which was its adaptability. But now that you sort of have a Junker with the 5 weapons and a Pyramidion pointed forward together in one ship, along with really good vertical acceleration and this sort of like funky build to it with the balloon on the bottom. The only downside on is that it's very difficult to engineer on. with a Pyramidion, you can basically have one guy engineer the entire ship except for the balloon, which is like 180 degrees and 2 steps away from one of the primary weapons. Pyramidions are always really easy to engineer on, but a Mobula, if you're going to have 3 weapons shooting, if you're going to have 3 weapons shooting on target and 1 person flying the ship, you're going to be, you're going to have no one fixing anything. And the balloon and the hull are on complete opposite sides of the ship. Like, they are very, very far apart. And there's no way for one person to get both of those. So by doing enough damage to the hull or the balloon, you actually force one of the people off of their guns to go fix the balloon or the hull. So what that does is that problem is that a lot of people focus on the Mobula. Awesome. Thank you. Oh, super smooth like butter. Like a nice plate of butter on your toast in the morning. Good stuff. But yeah, so that's the Mobula's downside, is they're more difficult to engineer on. So it requires a little bit of a different tactic than usual in this game, which is shoot first, repair later. Like if we're shooting the enemy, if we kill the enemy, they can't shoot back at us. So it's we don't get any more damage if they're dead. So that's the kind of mindset that the Mobula goes in. And once that mindset was adopted and put into people's like reflexes more, like I remember I had an engineer that was just so like fantastic engineer, with best engineers I've ever worked with. But I had to tell her like multiple times, like, don't fix that, just keep shooting your gun, because that's just the way that a Mobula works. So that's why they're dominant right now, because it's Junker plus Pyramidion, and that that little bit focus away from repairing nets some very, very, very fast kills, as you can see. Blitz Mobulas, very scary to go against. Yeah, Spires, same idea, but the main difference is a Spire is tall, a Mobula is wide. Spires right now are not very strong because when you Hades, because of the Hades weapon. What the Hades does is its arc, like it's gonna fire in the same place. Like, it doesn't have any jitter to it, but it has a really funny like downward arc. So you have to aim like way above your target in order to hit it. The problem is the Spire is so insanely tall that you have such a large, like vertical hitbox. Like, you don't need to be that good with the drop to hit it at some point along the Spire, especially because its armor actually arcs up all the way up into its balloon. You can, like, on the Spire, let's see, no one's bringing a Spire, but I can actually pull one up for you guys right now. So yeah, you can see like this up in here. Yeah, my mouse is on the screen. This like whole nose area, that's actually considered the hull armor when it comes to hitboxes. So if a Spire's looking right at you and you're shooting a Hades at it, if you hit anywhere from here to up here, you're going to be doing damage to the hull, and the Spire does not have a very strong hull armor. So that's going to plow through it really quickly, and usually the gunner here on this 2, which on my Flak Spire here, this is a pretty standard build. If you pull someone off this Mercury, you're no longer doing hull damage. So what the pilot can go back there and repair that in a little bit more advanced situations and whatnot. But as a general, the Spire versus the Mobula, like, this is a so much smaller hitbox to hit with your Hades, but it's very wide, which we saw in that last match. Well, at least I saw. I don't know if the bit rate was too low for you guys to see. People would like we're nicking the left and the right corners. I keep pointing at my screen like you guys are sitting here watching me. I gotta remember to do it with my mouse. These left and right pieces, like, as the pilot sitting here might think like, we're behind cover because I can't see the enemy ship, but these little wings here, you can hit and do damage to the hull. Everyone's here. Oh, my team, Pastry Timepiece. That is, for all of you who don't know, I am the leader of the clan Cake, and we have a very close relationship with the team Overwatch. And we have an alliance called Cake Watch that we use a lot, and so this time, instead of Cake Watch, we went with Pastry Timepiece, like a watch, so that's one of the teams that we have fielded today. We have 2 running around, we've got the Pastry Timepiece and the Cake Bakers. Cake Baker's main pilot is out today. Hey buddy, I hope you're doing all right. Hope everything's okay. But we got a sub in here, so hopefully we'll be able to keep going. Yeah, that's why everyone over there is green, because they're my friends. Permadian is, I think, the smallest. Smallest what? Like hitbox for hull? Because that's definitely the junker. The Pyramidian, that whole nose cone is armor, hull armor to hit. Yeah. Yeah, I tell you what, new account number. I was once, I swear upon this, I used to fly competitively. I used to fly competitively a lot. I switched over to casting recently. I leave the flying of the ships to the young bloods. But I had a match against Muse once, and it was 4-4, and I was in a Mobula, and my balloon got stuck on top of a building, and I just went from full balloon, hull, and armor to nothing, faster than anyone could do anything about it. And to this day, I say that Muse like coded that building to reach up and grab me, which is not even remotely true, but it helps my pride. It helps me keep my pride intact. But yeah, Mobulas are very, very, very vulnerable. Like I said, they're difficult to engineer on, but they're so their balloons are so fragile, not in terms of their actual health, but because they have such, I was talking about their vertical acceleration, that means that when the balloon is popped, those things drop like rocks, and they'll hit the ground with enough force to do a lot of damage to them if you're not really careful. And if you get stuck on the ground, there's a really good chance that you'll die. So, yeah, you need to be careful. All right, anyway, moving into Duel at Dawn. This is one of the smallest, if not the smallest, map in Guns of Icarus Online. Forces, like, the longest range that you can do here is like a medium engage, and that's like from corner to corner of the map, and there's enough cloud cover where it's really easy to move on those kinds of positions. So let's get to the ship loadouts. We have the DI Ryder Legion, a goldfish piloted by Zadion. They've got a Hwacha on their main weapons and 2 carronades for support. We have the Panic, a junker piloted by a true Jedi. And they have got a Gat Banshee on the right, an Artemis on the front, and then 2 more Artemi on the side. Artemises, Artemi, no one knows. Someone probably knows. We have the VSS Pastry Timepiece, a squid piloted by Muse Josie. And they have got a Gatling Banshee, your basic attack squid, with a mine launcher on the back for the escape plan. And we have already got things going down, so I'm going to do the Crazy Bards real quick. That's a Hwacha fish piloted by the man with a flamethrower and a Gatling gun on the side. So very quickly has the Ryder Legion moved into a position where they can start firing that Hwacha. The Hwacha is usually a sort of closer range weapon because the rocket spread is so high. But if you put, if you lock heavy clip in it, it really tightens the rocket spread, and you can like snipe out components with their freaking rocket launcher. It's awesome. Pastry Timepiece sort of sticking her nose out, taking a couple Artemis forward. Oh, good, excellent shot. Takes out one of their guns. But not like it was an effective range anyway. They should be aiming for engines, and there goes one, trying to get back into cover. The Ryder Legion is closing in quickly, coming in to do a little bit of work. Let's see if we can see that Hwacha goes off. Oh, Crazy Bards actually firing their Hwacha, and the Ryder's Hwacha does stay intact. Oh, come on, I got to this super cool camera angle to see the Hwacha go off, and it doesn't look like I'm going to see it as the Ryder Legion backs out just a little bit. Pastry Timepiece flying high in the cloud cover, but they do have a spot on them, unleashing a little bit of Banshee peppering on the Ryder Legion. And there goes the Hwacha. Boom. I was a little, oh, hang on. Yeah, there we go. See a couple of shots on this guy as the Pastry Timepiece zips around, going in to try to force a little bit more close range engagement. See, now what I think they're doing right here is actually playing the distraction so that the Crazy Bards can get into a better position. But the only thing, a distraction only works if you make it out alive. A tar cloud actually just right between both of these ships manages to miss both of them. Hull armor dropped, but a wonderful dodge on that Hwacha. Only a couple rockets connecting, none of them with the permanent hull. which is very, very, very important on a squid. Gatling going in, taking a couple shots with the balloon, dodging low, but oh no, it makes a nasty, nasty bump against the ground and loses half of their perma. That could not have been timed worse. Ryder Legion unleashing a Hwacha on the Crazy Bards, taking out every single weapon, but the Pastry Timepiece is not in good sorts as the Gatling rips out their whole explosives. Nowhere to be found. Gatling going in on the Ryder Legion, pulling a little wide. It's that squid moves quick enough, so it can be difficult to hit shots sometimes. Dropping a tar cloud, right on the Ryder Legion. They get out of there as fast as they can. A good amount of zoning avoids them from that carronade, but the panic is just absolutely zoning this Pastry Timepiece. Rockets are going into the hole. Nothing you can do. Let's see. Crazy Bards has got their main weapon disabled. That is the third cannon there, if I remember correctly. Is their primary weapon, so they just got it back online, fired a couple shots before they lost range. Bump takes out a lot of the Crazy Bards' balloon. They now have decreased vertical mobility. FPS to 30 instead of 60. Okay, got it. Alright. I'm just checking the chat real quick. VSS Pastry Timepiece has respawned. Got to get around a little bit of cover to assist on the Ryder Legion. Both of these goldfish actually sitting at full perma, which is impressive. Goldfish have the second least amount of hull armor in the game, following only squids. Crazy Bards does lose hull. That Banshee beginning to connect with their perma. Hull comes back up. They take a little bit of damage. Artemis actually taking it down from there. And yeah, there's just too much pressure right now for the Crazy Bards to deal with their main Hwacha down. Gatling's continuing to sink in. They have got one, maybe two Banshee rockets left in on them when they die. Pastry Timepiece bringing the Ryder Legion down to the ground. Oh, there goes the goldfish. Pastry Timepiece only one Hwacha away from oblivion because a squid without engines is just about as good as dead. There goes the Hwacha. Engines stay up, but at the sacrifice of the hull, take about 1/3 perma hull damage. Could be a lot worse. Honestly, those Artemises... Oh no, we're going for a squish. This is very bad for the Pastry Timepieces. They just get rammed to oblivion. 3-0, very strong start from the red team. We are deep in blue spawn. These sort of ribcage area, there's a couple different spawns within them, but this main area is the only place that you can jump in. Crazy Bards spawns a little bit outside of it. I mean, you can spawn outside the ribs. What I meant is that general area, not literally only inside of the ribs. Oh, it makes a very interesting run into red spawn to try to set up over there. Pastry Timepiece spawning on the other side of the ribs does not appear to have been noticed at all, but will they be able to sneak in and make a power play? Gatling going down on the Ryder Legion, but I don't know if there's enough to really draw attention to themselves. Yeah, Crazy Bards taking a lot of hits right now. They are in full engineering mode, but those Artemises are just hooking into the hull, ticking away at the hull armor. But they have got, they've probably got a couple people on the hull right now. Actually, wow, just one. Pechka is doing their best, but just cannot get it up fast enough. Oh no, hull drops right as they run into cover. Ryder Legion loses hull. A couple Banshees going in to cause a little bit of permanent damage. That carronade, though, trying to work on the Timepiece's balloon. A couple more Banshees going to the Ryder Legion, but the Goldfish falls once again. 4-0 for the red team, but if the Pastry Timepiece can keep up this pressure, they might be able to take out the Ryder Legion, but this is not the position they want to be in with the Hwacha pointed in their general direction. Pastry Timepiece losing hull, but being able to take the Banshee with their balloon. Very excellent tactic. That balloon can be repaired much easier than the perma-hull, which is not possible to repair. Gatling going just a tiny bit wide, and oh no, Pastry Timepiece loses all but one engine. Hull comes up lickety-split. There's only 4 hits with the spanner to get that thing together, 2 if you have 2 people working on it. But there's just so much pressure right now on this poor squid. Ryder Legion goes in for a ram, pulls a little tall on it. Pastry Timepiece has got 2 engines running. They need a little bit more than that if they want to escape as the Banshee closes in on them and finishes them off. So that's a win for the DI Ryder Legion and the Panic. Alright, I will drop the FPS to 30 now. that match is over. All right, settings. FPS 230. Apply. All right. All right. Let's see if third time is the charm. Shall we? All right. So that is that match number 2 for today. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna hang out here in the lobby. Just me and 29 of my closest friends. There's you guys over there on the stream. We're gonna hang out for a little bit. We're gonna chat as we wait for the next one to come up. The next map is Parrot and Rumble. I hit save and apply, didn't I, on OBS? I'm pretty sure I did. I'm gonna double check for you guys. Yes, I did. Okay. So. Alright, everyone else is gonna hop out of this match. We're gonna hang out in here just until we get a memo from Sapphire Sage that our next lobby is up and running. Yeah, so, Squids are making a little bit of a competitive comeback. It may be hard to believe from that last match. But it's because of the, there's too much pressure from, there was a lot of good focus fire from the red team on the blue team on that one. So that's why it didn't work so well. But we've seen that had nothing to do with, you know, the bad piloting on the blue team. This red team had better team coordination on that, and they were able to sort of get an edge early and hold on to it throughout the remainder of the match. But we see Squids making a little bit of a competitive comeback with that exact same build, that Gatling Banshee, because they're so nimble, and the Banshee is actually tough enough to do a pretty decent number on the permanent hull in that little bit of gap that you see. And a Banshee is used as opposed to a flak or a mortar, because it's used as opposed to a flak because it has no arming time, and it's used as opposed to a mortar because it has significantly better turning arcs, and it's a lot easier to shoot from the side of a squid. So that's why the build exists, and it works pretty well against Mobulas. It's able to get into that large blind spot I was talking about earlier, and stay there. It works pretty well against Permidians as well. Permidians have a large blind spot that you can exploit, and it works against. I've seen it work against Galleons a couple times. That's a little bit more difficult because one broadside and you're done. You are donezo. But yeah, so that's where the squids are coming from, out of the woodwork. So it's good fun. All right, do I have to restart the stream to apply my 30 FPS, because I'm seeing down at the bottom I'm still getting like 40, 50. Let me maybe I didn't hit the save button like I thought I did. All right, I'm gonna restart the stream real quick, just to apply that stuff. I will be back in like less than a moment.